are only thinking about what they can get from Nigeria.
Whether it is a derivative of consumption or whether it's a derivative of production, some states will still suffer. They don't have the numbers in terms of population. They don't have industries. They've not, invested in terms of industries or creating the enabling environment for industries to come in. And so, however we decide to generate that, some states are going to suffer, and that's where the challenge is, and that's why you see them almost as though they are fighting to say, look, this is how we should share it. This is how we should. And I wanted to ask you, because for those who do not understand what this means, because there are Nigerians who basically do not understand what all of this means, whether we are doing equality 50%, what that means, derivation 30%, what that means, and population 20%. They are confused as to what it means. Just break it down for us.
Okay, good. Derivative is supposed to be where those things are consumed, where the economic activities took place. That is where you get 50%. Equality just simply means the same sharing formula, put it in a basket and then use the same demography. And then population. Oh, I am 40. And of course, there's still doubt about population of Nigeria based on 2006 census. Let us not deceive ourselves. Nigeria is the only place in the whole wide world where those that live in the desert claim to be more populated than those that live in the coastal areas. Go and check anywhere in the whole world. Now, let us even leave that. It beggars belief. It saddens me when we say there is no state in that some states are suffering. They are suffering because they deliberately want to suffer. There is no state in Nigeria today that cannot generate $10 billion revenue annually within its domain if the governors are able to look inward. I'll give you an example. Netherlands, 41,000 square kilometer landmass. Netherlands has an arable landmass of 1.9 million hectares. In fact, Netherlands had to build 8,400 kilometer shoreline embankment to protect themselves from being carried by erosion because they are under sea level. 18 million people. Netherlands generates and exports 124 billion euro agro exports annually. They generate over 648 billion euros annually. Niger State is 2 times bigger than Netherlands. In fact, most states in Nigeria are bigger than Netherlands. All we just need to do, agro technology is the lowest hanging fruit. You can create, I give you an example now. In the north of Nigeria, we've done the numbers. I have a team that look at the economy and dissect it. If we decide today, the governors of the North, 19 North states decide today to work with the presidency to set up 2,500 agro-industrial clusters, agro-pastoral scheme, just like we have it. I'll give you an example. In Netherlands, annually, they generate about 24 billion euros from the dairy value chain. 1.6 million cows in 18,000 dairy centers go pastoring with agriculturists. They produce 800,000 tons of cheese and 12 billion liters of milk, 24 billion euros. The arrangement we have in the north, 2,500 agro clusters, each of them will take about $6 million to do. Each of them will create 5,000 jobs. Each of them will generate $49 million annually. We will have $109 billion annually from that place into the next 40 years. Imagine if $109 billion is coming from that area, the kind of VAT revenues that they will generate from that area. They are not thinking about in the southeast.
We have a situation where where we produce and where we process are 2 different states. So production comes from one state and processing goes to another state.
You can actually create enabling environment for everything to happen within your domain. You can actually. It's about creating. Okay, I'll give you an example now. I saw the other day on video his by destroying trucks laden with beverages, enforcing. I have been privileged to travel around the world. In the United Arab Emirates, that is 100% Islamic. They have areas where, in fact, there was a day I entered one of my hotel rooms. I opened the fridge. I saw a tot of alcohol. They say $70. One of the ways they prevent people from drinking is that they put a lot of taxations on those beverages to discourage people. But if you think you want to drink, you have to pay for it. But in Nigeria, the same people will break the bottles. Then the beverages will be consumed in Lagos State, will be consumed in Imo State. And somebody will sit after destroying the means of livelihood. He now want to control 15% of the VAT coming from Lagos and Owerri. Does it make sense? So we must build an economy that is very, very competitive. Today, why is it that in the Middle East, they are allowing these things? If you look at the structure of the UAE, there are 7 Emirates coming together to unite to form one country. And they have different laws. They have different dynamics. Other emirates are opening up like Dubai because Dubai went ahead of everybody because of the lax regime in that area. And that is what it means to be very, very competitive. If we decide to put in place the right constitutional and fiscal framework, just like we had between 1960 to 1996, I bet you in 10 years, Mr. President has always announced that he wants to build a $1 trillion economy. If we put in place the same fiscal and constitutional regime that we had between 1960 to 1960, I bet you in 12 years, we will build a $2 trillion economy. Why? Because the governors will now look inward. It is not a case of monkey the work, baboon the chop. Everybody will now look, what do I do in my own state to generate revenue? In Imo State, where I come from, we've done the numbers. We can easily generate nothing less than 2 trillion naira from Imo State every year. The Southeast can generate between $20 to $100 billion annually across the value chain. The Southwest can generate nothing less than $61 to $90 billion internally if the governors look inward. But unfortunately, everybody is fixated with Abuja. And Mr. President and his team, all I expected governors, okay, Mr. President, since you have begun to adjust the fiscal revenue sharing formula on the tax side, can we extend it to other products, oil and gas, gold, silver, agri products? And when you do it to coal, and then they can ask Mr. President, can we now reduce some of this on the exclusive list? Let mining go into the concurrent list and all those stuff. That is what we expect proactive thinking governors to be doing. But sitting down in Abuja to say, okay, Taiwo Oyelede, let us reduce to 30%. It is not moving. They are not moving this country forward. And I will encourage Mr. President to stand firm. In fact, Mr. President has always been an advocate of sovereign national conference. He has always been an advocate of fiscal federalism. He should go all the hog. If that is the only thing he achieves in the regime, trying to restructure the fiscal regime of Nigeria, history will be kind to him.
So one of the things that was also said, of course, the issue of VAT should not be increased. They've also talked about the idea of no reduction in the company income tax. Are we also missing out? Because